and eventually you'd get some formal training. How did that, where did you end up getting that training, and how did that come about?
So before the formal training was some direct, I guess you'd call it like apprenticeship in a way. I got an internship at a company called Garage Games that they made tools to create video games. They made the game engines. They had what was called the Torque engine, which was like it was the engine that the game Tribes 2 ran on. Well, anyway.
So you were able to get this internship without going through any kind of art or technical school?
Because of the modding.
Okay, so you showed them a portfolio of your mods, and they said that you're doing impressive enough work to merit an internship.
Yeah, and it was a small enough company.
Yeah.
So I get there, and I'm thinking that I'm going to be the texture guy, which I have that website, thetextureguy.com.
Oh, okay.
From those days, I was going to be the texture guy. And
is that a live URL?
It'll go to ericowellart.com.
Oh, okay.
It'll just redirect you. So I thought I was going to be doing textures, and I got started on it, and they're like, well, you really need to learn how to draw. I drew and stuff as a kid, but I didn't know how to draw. I drew my characters, my little shorthand. Like I said, my brothers would be like, hey, this is how you draw a tank. And so I would do that,
Right. So at this point, you're just doing modding. That's you know how to do modding, you know how to do textures within video games, but you really don't know, if you wanted to create a character like a Master Chief from Halo.
I had no
you couldn't draw that.
No.
Okay.
No way. In fact, I could probably eventually we could pull up some drawings from that era, and they're bad. They're really bad. I was actually I was half decent at painting textures.
Okay.
But most of that was you get the effect or the illusion, and sometimes you could source photos or riff off of something else.
Right.
And everything then was the quality bar was much lower. The standard was much lower for everything. So I felt like I was doing pretty good. Well, that's because the limitations kind of cap it out, right?
Right.
And so anyway, I get to intern at that place, and it was really beneficial for me because it was a small enough place that you could get to know people, and I wasn't just a gopher to get coffee for people. It was they actually but no, they had the humanity and respect to say oh, you came all the way out here, well.
West Coast, right?
Yeah,
we're on the East Coast here, by the way, and so
yeah.
all the way out to the West Coast to do this internship. It's 19, is that right?
Yeah, 19 years old.
Yeah,
I was an idiot, but anyway, just young and naive. But anyway, So you asked about where did I learn? That's where I'd say the learning really started. I did learn a few things online with the modding stuff. You'd find a community where you can ask questions and learn things, and a lot of that is kind of figuring things out on your own. But the relationship between trying to figure something out on your own and having someone with some experience and wisdom to direct you and also to motivate you. So I remember some of these conversations. The one was about really just the necessity of drawing. And some very basic, I'm 19 years old, intern at a video game company, supposed to be making art, and I'm getting the most basic lessons on the whiteboard. Okay, these are your value ranges. You've got black and white and the whole grayscale in between. And the more of that range you put in there, the more kind of eye-popping and contrast it is.
It's amazing that you got the internship if they had to explain all these things. It is. It's remarkable.
Yeah.
It means you must have had a great portfolio, or at least, impressive enough for your age. Yeah, wow. So you're getting some fundamentals, Art 101 there at the internship.
And then I think my takeaway when I left was, I remember the the art director, Joe Maroshak is his name. But he encouraged me in the, kind of tough love kind of way.
Right.
He was telling me about this painter that he knew who, I guess her mantra was, the first 3 miles of paint don't count. Like,
wow.
You gotta put in the work and the time and the mileage. And so he told me practically, he said, well, go to Walmart, get a tote and a ream of paper and draw for an hour every night and throw it in the tote and forget about it. And so that's what I did when I worked there.
Okay.
Just tons of bad drawings,
Yeah.
But
nothing can beat the reps.
Yeah, exactly. And
as long as the reps are doing the right thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's another, there's a piano teacher who used to live like a house up from here. That was his mantra was, practice does not make perfect. How did he word it? It was like...
Practice makes permanent.
Yeah, I think the way he described it was correct practice makes perfect.
Yeah. I had a sports coach who said it wasn't